everyone. Due to the snowstorm, today's lecture will be asynchronous and online. It'll be due Friday at 11:59 p.m. Class attendance will be taken by the video lecture, if you have completed it or not. And the assignments you can just upload via Canvas as you have been doing for the past few weeks anyhow. So we should be meeting on Thursday. Don't forget to bring your laptop, make sure it's charged, and make sure you have a backup power cord if need be. But let's get started. So in today's module, Reading Assignments Chapter 4, we're going to go over example 4.1 and 4.2 and 4.9. The rest of the assignments will be done in class on Thursday together. And don't forget there will be a quiz due on Friday as well, so don't forget to do the reading. Also, we'll be going over the Excel spreadsheet project using the P&IDs. We'll be going over that in class again, but you should be starting on that project as it is pretty lengthy. And we'll also be talking about our Choose a Research Topic and Question project in class on Thursday as well. So be ready for that. All right, first, let's look what Chapter 4 has to offer us. This chapter is about if, then, and else expressions. Those are also referred to as branching expressions. This allows the computer to make logical decisions. This is pretty advanced stuff for Excel. And at first, these are going to seem pretty lengthy and tedious expressions, but once you get the hang of them, they're really pretty easy. The chapter goes over what a Boolean expression is, which is basically a true or false statement. And all of these functions are going to equal a true or false statement, which can allow the computer to make a decision for you, basically. The first expression is a AND function, which you can see here. Basically, if you put the AND function in front of an expression using the greater than or less than symbols, you can make the statement that C1, if it is greater than 0, and if C2 is greater than C1, it'll be true. If not, it'll be false. Okay, so that makes sense. For an OR expression, as seen here, you're going to put OR where the comma is. So C1, if it is greater than 0, or if C2 is greater than C1, it'll be true. Okay? That makes sense. The NOT function is a little trickier. It reverses the value of its single argument. So the NOT function will state that C1, if it is greater than 0, it'll be false. If C1 is not greater than 0, it'll be true. Okay, so we got that squared away. So now the IF function, which is down here, requires 3 arguments. So if we put if in this expression, here we go, C1 greater than 100 is the expression, 50 and C1.5 is the 2 arguments. And as seen here, they can be in quotes and actually have words come out on your Excel spreadsheet, or they can be digits or strings. So that's pretty cool. So the example has you go to example 2.4 in your book and type out the information so that we can use a if then else statement to come up with a letter grade for the students. So have the information here on this spreadsheet. And it's basically a list of these students, 2 exams and a final exam, and all their scores. And we're going to find the average of their 3 exams and then put a final letter grade in. I've done no editing to this Excel spreadsheet. We will do that at the end. We'll put a title and all that stuff. First we want the average so we can get the overall score. So we want to click the cell that we want the average to be in. We're going to click the function button, and average is already in my list of functions, but if you did not have that, you can look down through this list. We have it. I'm going to click that, press OK, and then we have our numbers, and you can either type those in, but I like to click and drag because it saves time. And then because I want to copy this formula throughout this column, I'm going to need to use absolute values. So remember, we use the $ for that, and I want the columns to stay the same, so the letters to stay the same, but the rows will change. So I think I'm going to put my $ right before the letters with columns, and that should do the trick. Let's press OK and see what happens. Boom, beautiful. Make sure that if this number has a lot of significant digits, which I believe it did beforehand, to use the increase decimal or decrease decimal function to make this a more usable piece of data. So 75.7 is a typical overall score grade that we would utilize. So now that we have our function in there, I can just click and drag, and I got all of my scores written in. That's pretty cool. So now we want to find the final grade of these students by using a if then else statement. Now, so in your book on page 91, it gives you the exact formula of what to use to make this letter grade come out as it should. Okay, the hardest part of this whole example is typing in the formula because it's pretty lengthy. So we got a C, which looks about right from my experience. So make sure your formula looks like this. I tried to zoom in on the formula for you so that you can see it a little clearer. It's a little complicated, but if you break it down, it's basically everything that we've talked about in this example. So now, theoretically, I should be able to copy this formula right down through this column, which it did, and came out with all my letter grades. Beautiful. And that's it. Now all we have to do is spruce up the spreadsheet so it looks a little bit nicer by adding in titles and bolding the subtitles and, making sure everything looks nice. Maybe we can center the letter grades and make this a little bit smaller. So spend a few minutes sprucing up the spreadsheet. You guys should be pretty good at that at this point. And then we will do example 4.2.